T-Dog, J-Boy, and me, I'm Lugs. Our pride and joy is pumping our mugs. Be careful, kids, it could get rough. We're flipping our lids on sports and other stuff.
Welcome to Sport Weasel Central. I'm Lugs.
I'm J-Boy.
And I'm T-Dog.
Hey, fellas, I don't want to say I gained some weight during the pandemic, but now I count as 3 electoral votes.
Whoa. Alrighty.
All right, this is...
Are you your own zip code as well? I mean, you know, go ahead.
I'm my own grandpa, I think is what I meant to say. All right, this is sports and other stuff. Jalen Hurts is the highest paid player in NFL history at $51 million per year, and he'll get nearly $180 million guaranteed. We'll sort that out. What does this mean for Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert? We'll find out. And we're counting down to the April 27th NFL Draft in Kansas City. Good to see you, boys. Lugs, let's dig into it. Do you like the Jalen Hurts deal? Too much? Just right? Like Goldilocks and the Three Bears? This one's just right. Which way do you go on this deal?
I think it's a good deal for the team and for him. I mean, $179 million guaranteed or whatever. As long as he manages his money, he's good. That also leaves them some room to get some players around him. And I heard earlier today that essentially Lamar was offered the same deal and turned it down with Baltimore. So we know.
Did you get that tip from the lady at Goodwill or what?
No, I got that tip from Colin Cowherd, the Herd.
The Herd, okay, all right.
Yeah, well, actually, Nick Wright's the one who was reporting that Chris Mortensen was the one who said that Lamar had already been offered that deal and turned it down.
Morty?
Yeah. So I think it's a win-win for both team and player.
What do you think, T-Dog?
I think it's good. I do think again to go to Mike Florio again. Credit the agent for kind of boosting it. It's an extension, so I don't know if that number per year is actually
gotcha
51 million. He's still one of the, just because he should still possibly be making next year little under $5 million a year, and then it'll kick in 2024.
Balloon.
From my understanding, the guarantee is for over 179 million. So again, that's still a pretty penny in terms of you're regardless of what happens, you're guaranteed 179 million. And considering the play and considering like the way his work ethic has been, he'll probably earn most of that 255 million. But and it should end around when he's age 30, so he should be in line as long as his play doesn't dip too much. He'll be in play for another huge contract, and probably one after that if he's able to maintain. So he's put himself in a wonderful spot, and the Eagles did the right thing. They paid a guy who each year got better and better and better. So.
Well, considering he's the same age, I think, as one of my kids. What's he, like 23, 24 years old?
He's 24 years old.
Yeah, it's pretty good scratch, I think, just to hang around a locker room once in a while. Throw some pigskins and do that tunnel.
Well, he's hardworking. I mean, he's hardworking. I mean, he's basically quieted all the doubters, I think. But all it takes is one bad season and they'll be back. I don't know about Lamar.
The Lamar thing is kind of interesting to me because, I mean, look, I like Jalen Hurts a lot, but if you're asking me in a vacuum, like what they've done in their career, I think Lamar's a better quarterback. I mean, we don't have to agree on that. I just think if you look at his MVP season, I think, and also considering if you look at what was surrounded by Lamar in comparison to Jalen Hurts, I think what Lamar did is more impressive. The one thing I will criticize Lamar on is his 5 years with the Ravens I know he's been underpaid for what he's produced, but he's possibly giving up a year, which it's still under what he made in those 5 years, but essentially what he'd be making on this non-exclusive contract, he's essentially making a slightly less than what he would over 5 years. And then obviously he probably would not get franchised in any way next year. And obviously he could be very attractive to teams that don't have to give up 2 number ones next year. Because that's probably another thing that's really held this thing up from other teams maybe looking to pursue him, is they'd have to give up 2 number ones in addition to just a ridiculous amount of money. So I think it would be smart for him to play this year on this contract, because the thing I don't think he has to worry about is he's like, if I get injured, yeah, if he has a career-ending injury, yes, like that stinks. But you can do that, falling down the stairs of your house, like get a career-ending injury. We saw with Dak Prescott, he got injured coming up on when he was supposed to get his big contract, and they were so bad that he essentially got paid because they saw what they were without him. So I don't know. I just think he needs to play it out this year. I know it's not maybe what he wants, but again, he's also around Jalen Hurts' age. He's 26 years old.
Yeah.
So again, he should have another 2 big contracts within his career playing span. So I just think, I know he's played it. He's played this situation. I know maybe how he didn't want to go like how he wanted, because it feels like he's so locked in. Again, I agree with him. Maybe he doesn't want the fully guaranteed contract, but he wants more guaranteed money than Deshaun Watson. And we now had that's the thing. We had Jalen Hurts, Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson, and I'm blanking on another like fairly major quarterback contract. Right. None of them have tried to match that. So now we've already seen like a large pattern of fairly talented quarterbacks that have not got paid what Deshaun Watson. Everyone has essentially said like that was an anomaly, and is why the Haslams are hated by every owner in the league. So.
Well, and I saw some stats. ESPN had some stats about when Cincinnati has to come up with payment for Burrow, and other people have to come up. Anyway, the stat I saw says that Patrick Mahomes in 2 years or maybe 3 years will be the 7th on the list of highest paid quarterbacks. Think about that.
100%.
Kansas City worked that deal, and it's paying off for them, because I'm seeing several trophies in their future.
He's currently, I believe, with this new Jalen Hurts, he's currently the 5th in terms of money made per year. So
they're saying that Burrow will make more,
and probably Herbert.
Yeah, and Herbert. Yeah.
Okay, I don't know what you guys, I don't know what Florio's saying or Colin Cowherd or the lady at Goodwill are saying, but how do you guys feel about Alice? Hey, Alice. Hey, lady. Okay, what do you think? Lamar, I'm hearing this. I don't know what it was on. Sirius XM radio, let's say that. Lamar to the Commandos with new ownership, loose purse strings, need a new stadium. Let's get us a quarterback.
And he could play with, what do you just went out of my mind. The offensive coordinator.
NFC, go all the way.
Eric Bieniemy.
Eric Bieniemy, right.
Yeah.
Get Ron Rivera out of the way. Bieniemy's in the plan. Well, you guys are speechless for the first time in history.
I just don't see the Commanders making a major move until they get their feet under them. But, hey, if they got the money, I guess, go for it.
Well, here's the other caveat, too. Speaking of, like, Lamar's non-exclusive deal where teams can still negotiate.
Fiddle around, right.
The tricky thing currently with the Commanders, because it's essentially a done deal.
Right.
But it's also a non-guaranteed. It's a non-exclusive agreement. So to other people, even though they've essentially accepted the bid from Josh Harris's group that involves Magic Johnson, they can still negotiate with other groups. You want to talk about a very awkward, bizarre situation. So there's another person that can swoop in. So we have to really know this is who's going to be it. Like, I think it's a possibility with the Josh Harris group, but their consortium, but we don't know still yet if they will, because the deal probably won't be approved till late May. The finance committee has to look at all the paperwork, and then the 31 owners have to vote on it.
Sure. So it's kind of like a big poker game. Not everybody's shown their cards yet, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Like I said, it's a very weird situation.
And think about this.
Daniel Snyder, so
Daniel Snyder bought that team for $800 million. He's selling it for what, $6 billion plus. And so the biggest butthole in the sport walks away with even more billions than what he already has.
America ain't right sometimes. It's not right. All right, well, we'll see how that goes for Lamar, the Commanders, and the Josh Harris Group. Wasn't that a band, Lugs? Didn't you record with them back in the day? Didn't you play bass guitar?
In the 80s, yeah. We opened for The Fix.
The Fix.
Like I said, I'm not saying I don't think it. I think it could happen maybe a year down the road. I just think with this non-exclusive tag on Lamar, with having to give up two number ones, I think that's why no one's biting.
Nah, he's going to play for the Ravens if he plays for anybody this year.
Yeah,
it's going to be. Would you like to be in that locker room the first day that everybody is back together for OTAs? It's going to be a little chilly, shall we say?
I don't think any of the players. I mean, you've seen, not that Twitter means everything from teammates and even like other people. They want him to get paid. I understand them wanting him to get paid. Like, I don't think there's going to be. I'm not saying you're wrong that there aren't some people in the locker room that are mad at him, but I mean,
I think coaching staff wise and all of that, the front office, that's where your chill will come. Really.
Well, John Harbaugh can't be a part of the chill because if it wasn't for Lamar, if you think about how those last few years with Joe Flacco were, John Harbaugh was about to get axed. It was Lamar swooping in and playing well that allowed him to get another contract extension. And
statistically, Lamar, anytime he's in the game for them, they score 10 more points on average than they do without him. And they win more games, obviously. So the man is skilled. I just think he needs to get an agent. He needs somebody in his corner.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing with you on him needing to get an agent. And this will be my last thing because I know Jay Boy wants to move on to something else. But my last thing in an action towards like how much I believe in Lamar. And like how his situation hasn't been great with the Ravens offense. They signed Odell Beckham to a $50 million deal. He is, again, he's 31 years old, has two torn ACLs, hasn't had a 1,000-yard season since 2019. I feel fairly confident saying he's the best wide receiver Lamar in his professional career has ever played with. So that's just,
and he's damaged goods.
So.
All right, let's talk about their draft. T-Dog, you wanted to talk about, I think it was the Houston Texans, right?
That's right. Next week
they have the second pick, right?
So we're with the Texans. So the Texans. First question: should they draft a quarterback?
Oh, they have to.
Yes, that's why they're there. Hooker Hendon, that's their guy.
Y'all don't love Davis Mills? No love for Davis Mills?
I can't honestly say because I've never seen Davis Mills take a snap. That's kind of sad, but I've never seen him take a snap, so I don't know.
Could you pick him out of a police lineup, Lugs?
I could not.
No, me neither. No.
I couldn't. But they've got to take a quarterback, and people are saying,
yes,
if Carolina takes Stroud, then the Texans will take Bryce Young.
Right.
But, Carolina could surprise you and take Bryce Young.
I think Vegas currently has Bryce Young going number one. It's swung that far, I think, the other
Has
day.
it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't like it.
So that's the thing. So do you think they should go with C.J. Stroud, or should they go with Levis, or should they go with Richardson?
I wouldn't go with Richardson. He's just far too unproven.
Okay.
I think Levis he needs to be somewhere where he can have the clipboard for a year, maybe two.
Okay.
I think Bryce is the one that's most ready to play in the NFL right now, and C.J. Stroud's not far behind him, and he's a little more mobile, and obviously he's a bigger physically.
Yeah. I regardless. I just think if C.J. Stroud's available, they should take him.
Yep.
The thing that is interesting, and then we'll move on to the next thing, is there have been rumblings, and even their GM, Nick Caserio, has tried to shoot it down, but there have been rumblings they might not go quarterback because the GM might be on the way out because DeMeco Ryans, the new head coach, he took over, and it feels like maybe they want to set up like San Francisco, where DeMeco is a San Francisco guy, where Kyle Shanahan has a lot of input into their personnel, and Lynch is kind of there as the GM, but kind of as a facilitator. They want to set up that kind of dynamic where Caserio wouldn't be that. So they might go with a pass rusher. So I understand them maybe going for Tyree Wilson or Jalen Carter if that is, but it'll be fascinating because that'll be, I think, a real indication of if Caserio's on the way out. If they don't draft a quarterback, I feel Caserio is on the way out. But anyway, free agency. They had a pretty good free agency. They re-signed Laramie Tunsil, and they added Sheldon Rankins, the defensive tackle, and Devin Singletary from Buffalo, good running back, and Dalton Schultz, a relatively talented tight end from Dallas. You kind of look at their roster; it's a solid foundation, but they don't really lack anybody that really I think scares you. Is there anyone in free agency you think they should add, or what do you think of their roster in general?
I think they have to add some defensive linemen here, either free agency or the draft. They need some new blood. They just need to step it up, get themselves a couple of star athletes on both sides of the ball, really. They could use running backs. They could definitely use cornerbacks and edge rushers.
And T-Dog, I think like last year you had them wearing the Ofer, the collar.
I did.
I think they're going to be done, and they're going to wear it again this year in the future. So we'll think that over, but I don't think it matters a whole lot, to be honest. Who they get, what they get.
So that kind of ties into so in your opinion, J-Boy, should they trade down from the second pick? Should they forego since they need so many – they need more bodies?
I like that, but who would they trade with? That's the next question. I like that idea personally.
Yeah, I don't think it's bad because, again, I know it's a broken record each year, but if you think they're wearing the collar, that puts them in a perfect position to get Caleb Williams or Drake May. Whatever your flavor of ice cream.
2025, 24 draft, right?
And I don't know, maybe Quentin Ewers for the Texas, if he plays even, if Arch Manning doesn't steal his spot. Maybe he's in the mix. I don't know. I just think I'm fine with them trading down. I just feel they need to stay in the top 8 so they do get a big playmaker and some maybe additional draft picks. What do you think, Lugs?
Yeah, I think they've got to stay where they are. Because they wouldn't have depending on how they work the deal, they wouldn't have a pick to number 12, and that's pretty deep in there. So I think they got to stay where they are because either way, they're going to need a quarterback this year. I'm sorry, Davis Mills or David Mills, whatever.
It's Davis. Trust me, I get why you'd say David. I don't know a lot of people with the first name Davis, but it's Davis Mills.
Do you think he's the heir to that Olin Mills photography company? Remember that? Lugs in the
maybe so.
Back in the day? J.C. Penney?
No, his great uncle was a military man, and then he retired and he got into cereal. So.
Oh, General Mills.
General Mills.
Even better.
Oh, my God.
Best to you each morning.
We're going beyond dad jokes.
Yes,
We're in the
Battle Creek, Michigan. Okay, go ahead. T-Dog, take it away, please.
So staying on the draft, I'll let you all start off. We could do one at a time. With the draft coming up next week. Next week, maybe we'll talk about defensive players. And this doesn't have to be who you think will be like a star or whatnot, but just guys in college that you enjoyed watching, that you hopefully will enjoy watching it on Sundays. Offense this week. So, hopefully we all have 4 people to talk about.
T-Dog, Lugs, you go, man. I got one, but I'm going to hold it because it's a good one.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give the offensive lineman some love here. I like Peter Skoronsky at Northwestern. He only allowed 6 pressures in 474 pass blocking snaps. It's pretty impressive. I mean, he's massive. His arms, look like human beings hanging off the side of his body.
Say what?
That kind of a thing. So I'm going
Little children
with the offensive tackle.
J-Boy.
Oh, I like. Okay, so I learned something today. I know that's unusual, but I'm going to go with it. Okay, Hooker Hendon, right, quarterback. We've had him on maybe a longer.
Hendon Hooker.
Hendon Hooker. You know what I meant. I had the comma in the wrong place. Do you guys know that he's 25? He's already torn his ACL, and by the time he gets his rookie deal over with, he'll be 30 years old. That's not right. That's not going to work. But I think somebody should draft him anyway, and I think the Houston Texans would be perfect for him. Next.
Yeah, I like that. I like both of them. I'll go with Lugs with showing some love to the O-line. Paris Johnson Jr., offensive Ohio State tackle. Lugs was talking about Skoronsky's arms. Paris Johnson has a 36-inch arm length. I mean, we're talking about hands that go down to your ankles in terms of just in terms of his length. If you watch, the only thing I got to really quibble about, I'm not saying he doesn't have it. You see sometimes his hand placement is inconsistent, but just his length and athleticism, he's very quick-footed for a guy who's 6'6" and 320 some odd pounds. He's gonna be a top level pass blocker, and he's already showed Ohio State he's a great zone blocking. When he gets to the second level, he's a freight train. So,
I like.
Well, speaking of freight trains, my second pick of the 4 would be Bijan Robinson of Texas. I think he's going to show up well for the next 3-4 years in the NFL. He's just crazy big, crazy fast. It's one of those guys that you're a defensive back and he's gotten past the linebacker and you got to take this guy head on. It's like looking at a car coming at you and it's angry. So
I don't know that brand of car, angry. I got a Dodge, maybe a Chevy, Ford, Mach 1. I'm going to go with Tyree Wilson, Texas Tech Raider. He's a linebacker. Yeah. A lot of people have him going to Seattle. The kid's massive. He's rocket quick, great arm strength, straight on. I love a good linebacker, who can destroy, get in the backfield, mess up some offense. And I think this guy's got the tools. And let's see what he can do.
So is that where you would like for him to go? Is Seattle?
Well, I'd like him to go somewhere a little closer to home, but if he's going to go somewhere, he should help old Pete Carroll out. He needs to work on that double mint gum a little bit.
Lowe's, before I say my second one, is there any one place you would really enjoy seeing Bijan go?
I would suspect he's going to go to Atlanta.
Ooh,
but would I like to see him somewhere? I would say that if the Ravens could get him, that would. I mean, with he and Lamar in the backfield, OBJ. I mean, that gives them somebody for Lamar to count on other than his own legs.
And we talked about how bad his receivers are. Sarkisian said he was one of their top receivers on their team. So there you go. You could play him out wide. If
OBJ would be on the JOB.
So kind of going back to what J-Boy said, speaking of close to home, relatively, my second guy is Sam Laporta, Iowa tight end. The thing I enjoy about watching him is he lined up in line, in the backfield, in the slot, and out wide. I mean, he has quickness. It creates great separation and is actually really effective on screens because of his short area burst. He can block, and he was able to be the focal point of passing attack in back-to-back seasons. Obviously, they did not have a great passing attack. I mean, Iowa's offense was one of the worst offenses in college football, but that makes him even more impressive. Everyone knew he was the only guy they really had on the team, and he still had over 1,600 yards receiving each of the last 2 years. So Sam Laporta.
Sam Laporta.
Oh, for my next one, I'm going to go wide receiver as well. I like Quentin Johnston at TCU. I mean, he's a tall, rangy guy. I guess he's 6'3", 6'4". He's more than 200 pounds, and he's just fast. I think he averaged almost 20 yards a catch. So
yes.
I would go with him on whatever team. I mean, again, if the Ravens could come up with a way to get him, they should.
Yeah.
That would really make that receiver room. That would upgrade that receiver room a bunch.
Or just his juice if he was added to the Chargers, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, not really.
Yeah.
Well, they've got to get some more offensive firepower, but I just don't have any faith in the Chargers. They're going to waste a perfectly good quarterback. I mean, hey, they wasted Phillip Rivers for 15 years? I mean, it was just it's a place where quarterbacks never really function, the Chargers.
Yeah. Well, what about you, Jay Boy?
All right, I'm going close to home to a team I like. I like Paris Johnson. He's the offensive lineman from Ohio State Buckeyes. Mm-hmm. I think he'll go to the Bears. They need him. He's a good run blocker. He uses leverage well. I like him. He's a big fella. And I think he's perfect for what they need to protect our good man in the backfield there. Justin Fields in the backfield. Yes, sir. So I'm going Paris Johnson, Chicago Bears.
So you like my endorsement of him?
I do.
I did it. Okay.
I know you did. So, I know. I like him too.
I'm going to go running back.
Good.
I'm going to probably say his name wrong, so I apologize. I'll go with his nickname afterwards just because I know I'm going to mess up his last name. From Pittsburgh, Israel Abakanda. He goes by Izzy. If you watch his first step, it is dynamite. I mean, he is explosive. He just shoots through. I don't know if he'll ever be like a bell cow running back because for his size, he's around 215. He doesn't have as much drive as you would hope. But if that guy gets outside or the second level, he has a chance to take it to the house. So, and particularly for an offense that's like zone blocking, where he can one cut win with his vision, like he could be like a home run hitter, like hopefully a better Tevin Coleman. So
I like it.
Well, my next pick, I'm going wide receiver again. I got to go for Jackson Smith Najiba at Ohio State. I mean, again, he just is amazing, his route running and ball skills. So I think he will go high in the draft for receivers. So that would be my pick. And if he were lucky, mm-hmm. I think he would work in Denver. I know that's crazy to say, but I think he would work there well.
Yeah, no, I mean, it sounds like they're trying to trade all their current starters. So, I mean, they're going to need a wide receiver. So,
yeah. And he would be a definite upgrade.
Yeah, I mean, I think after like Cortland Sutton, I mean, I don't know what's happened with him, but it feels like he's gone if I was to bet. But what about you, Jay Boy?
All right, here's my last one. I'm sticking close to home. This is you guys are going to go, what the hell? Will Levis, guys, I'm sending him to Tampa Bay. I think there's something to this guy. You got a new offensive coordinator there at Tampa Bay, right? Dave Canales, I think that's how you say his name. I think this kid should get a break. I think he's got too much arm strength. He just needs to harness that in, finesse it a little bit. I think he's got a future chucking the ball, and he's just too big of a dude, too big of a physical specimen, kind of like some of the new prototypical quarterbacks. I think he could be the next guy. Give him a couple years.
Yeah, he reminds me of Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
I mean, he's massive. Roethlisberger was bigger and probably smarter.
Or Josh Allen. He's kind of that size, too.
Yeah.
No, I like it. I mean, obviously they need a quarterback. I mean, not to say Baker can't play well. I don't know. I don't want to try and come off like bagging on Baker, but like obviously Will Levis definitely can be the future, and they still have some really good components of that offense. It's just that their offensive line was never healthy last year, and I don't know what was going on with Mike Evans and Tom Brady. They weren't synced up, but maybe Levis can do magic with Evans where Brady sometimes, and again, I'm not even putting on Brady, maybe it was Evans, like they just didn't feel like they were simpatico. Right. My last one, speaking of big wide receivers like Mike Evans, not as big as Mike Evans, but Cedric Tillman, Tennessee wide receiver. A lot of these great wide receivers in this class are like fast and small route runners. That is not Cedric Tillman. He is 6'3". He uses height and weight to bully corners on press and high pointing the ball. I think he'll be great at tracking. He's shown in that Tennessee offense where they usually go intermediate to deep. He's great at tracking the ball, and he has good hands. So I don't know. I think he goes in the second round, but I just think because of his uniqueness, because of lack of quality receivers with his height, I think he might sneak into the end of the first round. So
I like it.
Yeah. So like I know they already have like two really good wide receivers. I could see him going to the Bengals.
Man, that would be something there.
Yeah.
One more tool in the toolkit.
Yep.
All right. Hey, Lugs, do you have any sports of yesteryear? Should we get that baby cranked up today?
Oh, yeah, we can do that.
All right. I don't have a fancy theme for you this time, so we'll just say, on your mark, get set, go.
All right. 1921, 25th Boston Marathon, won by Frank Zuna in a race record time for that time of 2 hours, 18 minutes, 57 seconds. 1945, one-armed outfielder Pete Gray of the St. Louis Browns plays his first game. He goes 1 for 4, 1 for 4. 1946, Jackie Robinson debuts as second baseman for the Montreal Royals. 1964, LA Dodgers pitcher Sandy Koufax strikes out the side on 9 pitches for the third time in his career, an MLB record. 1984, Joan Benoit runs a world record female marathon, 2 hours, 22 minutes, and 43 seconds. And bringing it back home here, 1998 NFL Draft. Tennessee quarterback Peyton Manning, first picked by the Indianapolis Colts. And he goes on to get himself a couple of Super Bowls. So there you go. That's it for this edition of Sports of Yesteryear.
Well, thank you, Lugs. So who was the one-arm ball player? Gray? Earl Gray? No, that's a T. Pete Gray?
Pete Gray.
Pete Gray.
He actually was injured in World War II. And when he came back from the war, he had lost an arm. But he played for a couple of years.
Okay, do you remember not that long ago, 90s, one-arm pitcher for... was it California? Abbott. Yes.
I'm looking on his first name.
He had
Jim Abbott, right?
Jim Abbott had half an arm, right?
Yeah.
Threw and fielded with the same hand. Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, he would quickly put it on his hand. He could very quickly like pop it off his other arm and put it on his hand.
He tucked it under his armpit, didn't he? Like the mitt.
Yeah, he'd pop it. Yeah. So
cool stuff. Well, wow, that's good to know. All right, so Mr. Gray, all right. And Jackie Robinson started for the Montreal Royals. All right, that's good to know, too, this week.
Yeah, that's how they eased him into the majors before they brought him to the Dodgers.
Your research team is working overtime, I believe, there at the broadcast center.
Our crack researcher is Thumbs Big Way.
Thumbs big way. You and that Josh Harris group. All right. So, T-Dog, you brought up this interesting concept. The Cleveland Browns lost their paid stadium naming rights. Now what? I'll leave it to you.
Okay, so the Cleveland Browns, they had a 10-year deal with First. At least it lasted 10 years. It started in 2013 with First Energy and the Browns. With the First Energy, and they made sure. If you all got to read the corporate garble from both sides, it's hilarious. It's the epitome of corporate like word salad. Where with the end, like, what did they say? I don't know, but they both came to a friendly ending to their partnership. So it goes back to just being called Cleveland Brown Stadium. That's all. So I'm asking you all. And if you want to do it in corporate garble, like word salad, that maybe makes it even better. Who should be their new sponsor?
Lugs, you're the creative guy, man. You got one in your back pocket?
Well, let me just first say this. The Browns cut ties with First Energy because First Energy admitted to paying bribes to Ohio lawmakers.
Other than that, it was fine.
Right. So the Browns were trying to get away from all of that. So anyway, the Browns, I was thinking, how about that brownie chocolate milk,
Was it caramel milk? What was that? Chocolate Milk Stadium. Come on in.
Yeah, come on. Call it the Brownie Stadium. I mean, it kind of plays into both. And you could, I just remember that character it was like an elfish sort of character.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And it wouldn't be offensive except to elves, I guess. So they could probably get away with it because Keebler's getting away with having a tree full of elves. So there you are.
I don't think Cleveland's a strong elf union town either. I think it's pretty right to work state, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Well, did you know this? There are only 2 NFL stadiums that have not hosted a postseason contest. One is Allegiant Stadium, home of the Las Vegas Raiders. Of course, that's only, about 3 years old. And Cleveland Browns Stadium. So you can put the big L out there, I think, for Loserville. They've not. So what do you do? It's been open since 97. That's a long time. That's like, 25, 26 years.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. I mean, who wants to? Okay, what happened to Progressive and Flo in those commercials and him living in there with his wife and cleaning out the restrooms? That all they gave up? Flo said, "See ya." What?
You got to be better than a backup quarterback to keep commercials going at that level. I mean, there was a lot of love for him coming off that Jets win. It looked like he was the guy that was going to turn around.
Yeah, well, okay.
I'll do mine. I'll do it with a corporate garble. The Cleveland Browns are excited to proclaim our facility's new name belongs to a corporation that knows what to do when situations are going sideways. They have a wealth of experience in dilemmas that are viewed as irredeemable. Our team might be going through hell, but they will be our Virgil. Our winning aura might have taken a spill these last few decades, but not as bad as theirs. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Exxon Field.
Oh, man.
I like it.
I thought you were going to say Fox News, but hey.
Fox or Dominion, right? The big lawsuit right now. Right.
Yeah.
I like that. Exxon Field, right? That'd be some slippery... High profits, though. We know there'd be high profits. I mean,
it's high profits. So, because I agree with J-Boy. I mean, hopefully Cleveland can turn it around, but it's since being rebirthed as a phoenix, man, people want it to go back to ash. That's all I got to say.
When was that rebirthing? Do we have a number on that?
I believe it was 99 was their first year back. It is the rebirthed Cleveland Browns.
Right. As opposed to the Baltimore Raven Browns.
Yeah. Then the thing that makes it extra painful is you look at just the success since they moved to Baltimore that the old Cleveland had. It has to be it's double fold frustrating.
Killing you if you're a Browns fan.
So,
wow. Okay, well, that's that. Exxon Stadium, you heard it here first on Sports and Other Stuff. We are the Sport Weasels. Anything else tonight, fellas?
No, that's it for me.
All right,
Yep.
should we, we'll close this baby off. This has been Sports and Other Stuff, brought to you in part by William A. Lewis Clothiers, where the models buy their clothes. There are many, many, many locations, including one at Cottage Grove and 63rd. Stop in that particular branch, and you'll see our guy. He's there tonight.
Fish.
Yeah.
And to fulfill his lifelong dream of visiting Australia's outback and to do it with fellow Aussie fans, this week, Fish is starting to recruit a Dunny racing team for the September running of the Dunny Derby. Dunny is the Australian term for an outhouse, by the way. And for the Dunny Derby, outhouses are equipped with wheels. One person sits on the throne with 2 pushers and 2 pullers. The race is run over 200 meters with a few obstacles. The teams have to stop and pick up a toilet roll, a toilet brush, and also an empty bucket. Dunny fans, come on down this Saturday at 1 p.m. We'll toss a few shrimp on the Barbie and plan our trip to the land of koalas, kangaroos, and Dunnies.
We are Dunny and over and out. This is Sports and Other Stuff. We'll see you next time here or somewhere. So long.